welcome to Ashley's Vintage Journey. I'm Ashley and it's Easter time. And today I have a project that I set up for Easter. Now I didn't give myself a whole lot of time, so I didn't get to film as much as I wanted to. So a lot of it is just bits and pieces of me making some of the projects in this video. Um, but yeah, I ended up making this dress for my daughter, Deja, and this little dress and bonnet for my daughter, Abigail, and then the vest from this outfit for my son, Drew. So if you want to stick around and watch me make them, then go ahead and continue watching this video. So let's go ahead and get started into making it. So here are the patterns I'm going to be using. The first one is Simplicity Pattern 5332. I'm doing just the vest and without the fringe. The next pattern I'm using is Simplicity Pattern 9776. I just did the dress with the pockets. I didn't do anything really extra to it. And that was for Deja. And then the last one I did the hat, bonnet, and the bloomers for Abigail, and I also did the little chickies on them with the embroidery. So here is the fabric I got. It's like a mint green color. I got it from the thrift store. So here I am cutting the fabric out. I didn't film me cutting out Abigail's pattern because when I had ordered it, the lady didn't send me all of the pattern pieces, so I had to wait for those to come in, and I ended up cutting that later. But I also tried to skimp on trying to cut out the fabric. I tried to use up as much as I could in the spots that I could cut it out because I didn't have a whole lot of fabric. So I did get this from the Goodwill, and I don't know where I could have gotten any more fabric for this. So I did try to salvage as much as I could. I ended up using every single bit of this fabric. I even used up some of the scraps to cut out some of the pieces, which is a good thing. I ended up using up just about the entire thing. But yeah, I'm so glad I had just enough for all three of the projects I was doing. So here I started off on Drew's vest, which was my most easiest one I had made. I ended up doing this in one day. I started off with sewing all the pieces together on the front piece and the lining. And then after I had sewn all those together, I had pieced them together with the front piece and the lining together, sewed them inside out, and then I had left a little bit on the bottom to open so that way I can flip it right side out. Then after that, I went ahead and sewn the shoulders to go together. And then after that, I had ironed everything out. Once I flipped it all out and sewn up the bottom little hole closed, I ended up flatlining the entire thing so that way everything stays in place. I just sewn on some buttons I didn't make buttonholes, so I just sewn them right through both sides of the fabric and then just stitched it shut. He can slip it over his head very easily. I just didn't have time to do a bunch of buttonholes and sew on buttons. So here's Deja's dress. I went ahead and got started on that. I did all the darts. There was quite a few of them. There was some on the front and the back. And I went ahead and just did all of them all at once. On the lining, on the front, on the back, everything. So I went ahead and gathered up the skirt piece, and then what I had done is pinned it to the front part of the bodice, and I went ahead and sewn that down. So after that, I went ahead and I sewn on the pockets. Um, I just ironed them out so that way the seams were flipped in, and then just sewed around all the edges. So here I gathered up the back of the skirt and then went ahead and sewn it to the back of the bodice. I did that for both pieces of the back bodice and the back of the skirt. So now I just went ahead and stitched up all the side seams. So here I'm trying to show you that I stitched up all of the pieces for the lining layer. I stitched them all together. So I pinned the lining to the front bodice inside out, and I went ahead and sewn all the way around all the edges to encase it. So when I flip it inside out or right side out, it will all be on the inside. All the stitchings will be in the inside. So after I did that, I also had went in and I whip stitched it, all the edges inside of it, and then I went ahead and did the hem. I didn't get a lot of it on video. I also did the zipper, which I had to redo a couple times. I messed up on it, but I didn't get any of that on video. I just didn't have time, and I was just trying to hurry up and get it done because I also still had to make Abby's dress. So I ended up not filming me making the panties. They were quite hard to make. I did end up putting darts in it, and I brought the crotch part in because the diaper was so large on her. But yeah, this was very difficult. The instructions were not very clear about anything with this whole dress. I basically was winging it the entire time. So here I have the bodice part of the dress, and I sewed the shoulder seams together, and then after that I sewed the facing around the neckline of the dress, which actually I didn't realize I had put on wrong until after I had already did everything, but it's okay. I ended up fixing it and ended up putting lace over it too to make it look very nice and everything, so you couldn't even tell that I messed up on it. So then I gathered up the little side parts of the skirt, and then I went ahead and hemmed the whole bottom of the dress, which took me a little while because it was hard to get it to fold over because the whole thing was curved almost like a circle skirt. So I had to go in and iron everything down and snip where it needed to snip, and so it would give it some ease. And then I went ahead and hemmed it. So here I went ahead and finished gathering up all those stitches, and I put the little placket over it so that way it will stay in place. And I just put it over both sides. It said to whip stitch it in place, but I just didn't have time, and it was just easier for me to just put it on there, and it turned out really nice. I would have never have thought it would have needed to be whip stitched. I went ahead and sewn on the ribbons on the back after I did the plackets. I just placed them where it said to on the pattern. I probably could have put it a little bit more forward, but it's okay. She's tiny, so it ended up working out because it would have given it more room to tie and make it a little tighter for her. But here I am putting on the buttons on the back. I just used these little snap buttons. I didn't want to do buttons and buttonholes. I just didn't have time for it, as you know. But I just went ahead and did the snap buttons. It was super easy, and they went right in, and I had actually the perfect color in my little button stash. So I ended up not being able to show that I put the lace on the neckline. Also, I didn't film making the bonnet. I just had so much going on at the time when I was making the bonnet. I ended up stopping and starting and stopping and starting, so I wasn't able to actually record the entire process. But I just took the pattern pieces, put some buckram in the middle of it, like the pattern called for. I sewed it inside out, then flipped it right side out, and then just sewed over the entire thing so that way everything stays in place. Then I sewed the lace on the edge of the bonnet, and also here is me embroidering the little chick to the bonnet. I didn't put it in the O-ring just because the buckram, I was afraid of it forming to the O-ring and then not being able to come back out of that, because I've ironed this thing a million times and I still have that crease in there from where it was folded up when it got shipped to me, and I just cannot get those creases out. I don't know if there's something else I can do to try to get it out. If you know how to, please let me know in the comments, and I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, here I am just doing the embroidery. The embroidery took me about 2 days to finish everything on all of the pieces. And yeah, it was really relaxing. I enjoy embroidery. I'm not the best at it, but I really enjoy it. It's fun, and I love the end product of it. Just makes everything so cute. And this was so Eastery and just put me in the mood for Easter. So I did want to show you the straps in the back. So I only put a couple stitches on each of the straps, and I also folded in the straps so that way I can make it bigger as she gets bigger, and that way she can fit in it for a long time instead of just fitting in it for this short amount of time, because the dress and the bloomers will fit her for a while. Now it's reveal time. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that reveal. It turned out so great. Abby's dress was a little bit hard to make. Drew's was the easiest. Deja's was right in between. I had a little bit of troubles here and there with hers, but it was because of the zipper. I put it on backwards, then I put it on inside out. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on with the zipper, but it was still so much fun. I didn't have a lot of time to do the project, so I wasn't able to film as much as I wanted to. Like, I didn't get to film the bonnet. I just filmed me putting the embroidery on the bonnet. The embroidery took me about 2 days to finish. But other than that, everything else took only like a week to finish everything. And yeah, there was a couple things I would have liked to added to some of the outfits. Like Deja's, I wanted to add some lace to it, and Drew's, I wanted to put like a little fake pocket. And Drew's actually doesn't even open up, it just slips over his head because I didn't have time to do all those buttons and buttonholes. So I just kind of made it like a fake vest. But it turned out great and he loved it. It worked perfect. I should have made it a little bit longer, but I was running really short on fabric. I only had so much. I got this fabric from the thrift store, so I didn't have a lot to go with. So I was trying to limit as much as I could, although I really should have made it a little bit longer. It's okay. He wore it for today, and he wore it for the pictures and everything, and it turned out great. I love how it turned out. So it's a win for me, and he loved it. Deja's dress turned out perfect. I love how hers turned out, and it fits her so good, and she'll be able to fit in it for a little bit longer because it is a little big. But it turned out great. I also did make her buttons, fake buttons also, because it had a big zipper in the back. There was no point in me putting buttons and buttonholes when there was a big zipper in the back. It went all the way down to the bottom of her lower back. Abigail's dress was hard, and especially the panties. The panties were the hardest just because they were very large. A lot larger than I thought they would be. Now I know the outfit was for a 1-year-old. She is 1, but she's on the very small end of 1-year-old. She's almost still like a 6-month-old. So I knew the outfit would be a little bit big on her, but I didn't expect the diaper to be that big. So I did have to add some darts. I did have to add some, I had to take in the bottom to give it, to make it, to keep it from being such a saggy little diaper, but it definitely worked. And not only that, I can always take out the darts and take out that little extra piece I put in there just to keep so she could wear it when she gets bigger, and it will work great. I really didn't have to do any adjustments on the dress to fit her. I just tied the bow a little bit tighter in the back to help it fit a little bit better. Other than that, it fit her great. The bonnet, there was quite a bit I had to adjust on that because I think it was for a bigger child, and of course she's teeny tiny, but all I did was adjust the straps on the back, and that helped out a lot. I just adjusted it little by little just to see how things would fit on her, and it ended up working out perfectly. But yeah, I love how everything turned out. It just looks so great, and they just looked adorable on, and everyone gave them compliments on their outfits and how cute they looked all dressed alike. And yeah, I really love how everything turned out, and they just look so cute. And it's outfits that they can wear um, even with it not being Easter. um, and there is things I can add to Deja's dress now that, you know, she's not going to wear it for Easter. If I want to add lace or anything like that, I can do that now, because I do have time to be able to do that. As you might see, everything's a little bit sparse. I don't have all my usual knickknacks behind me. I am in the process of moving. I'm not sure when I'll be able to get my next video out, but at some point I will be getting a video out in the next month, hopefully. But I am in the process of moving, so I'm not sure how long it will take to move, but I will try to keep you guys updated on that. But I really wanted to try to get this Easter video out to you guys so that way you guys can have it. I know I might not get it out the day of Easter, or maybe even later in the day after, but it's still Easter time, so, and it's still spring break time, so it will be all right. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter, or had one. And all right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye. What you did?